Welcome to the Wrestling So Cool podcast. My name's Cam. That's Mark.
How y'all doing? Thanks for joining in.
All right, before we get into it, you can follow us on Twitter at WrestlingSCool and take over for the rest of the social.
On Instagram at Wrestling Still Cool, Facebook Wrestling Still Cool, TikTok is Wrestling Still Cool 90, and you can email us at WrestlingStillCool@gmail.com.
All right.
Let us know what you would like to see too.
Right. All right, so the first thing to kind of touch on for this week is another episode, or I'm sorry, not episode, but pay-per-view has gone removed from the WWE Network. WrestleMania,
Really?
Yep, WrestleMania 24, the one from 2008 that took place in Orlando, where Floyd Mayweather versus versus the Big Show, and apparently WWE has responded and said that it'll be back up, but what the hell?
And it so happens that was the only WrestleMania that I've been able to attend. They take down that WrestleMania, man.
Right.
I didn't know that until just now, actually.
Yeah, I just saw the story, and I don't fully understand why. Like, this is just like that TLC that got removed and put back on the WWE Network. It got removed out of nowhere. No real change that we could perceive to it once it's been uploaded. But yeah, this WrestleMania is down, and it's not like it's anything related to like maybe they had to edit out like Chris Benoit or something like that. He wasn't even there.
No.
This is well after his death, and this is well after Eddie Guerrero's death. So
one person in that pay-per-view they would have so-called a beef with is Punk. Other than that, I don't see that being the reason, because at that time he was still up and coming as being a star, but it makes no reason to take off WrestleMania 24. I don't see any significance behind that. And once again, we also talked about TLC a few weeks back. That didn't make any sense to me. But why the hell did you take off your biggest one? Your biggest pay-per-view of the year, WrestleMania. What? It doesn't matter which year it was, but it's so sad. It's the same one I went to.
Right.
But it's just weird. Like I don't see the significance of why.
And the only other oddity here is Carlito is on the show, and apparently they advertised him to be at the Raw Legends Night, and he didn't show because he was never asked.
Really?
Yeah, he was never asked. He had no idea that he was supposed to be there. They advertised him. I guess they originally were going to reach out to him, but they never did. He responded to it on Twitter. That's the only reason why I know he... what
did he say on Twitter? Just says I was never asked?
Like, hey, where was Carlito? He goes, I didn't know I was supposed to be there.
I saw him advertise myself. Well, okay, Carlito's going to be there. I didn't see him, so I was like, maybe, booking plans got changed at last minute. I didn't know.
Okay, does he really qualify as a legend? No,
well, depends on how you look at it. I mean, played a big part for a long time. You can call him, why not? It's played a good role for several years, and I think the word legend, it gets tied into I guess the perspective of what people think of as world champions and stuff like that, or been so many accolades. I mean, he had a good run. He'd been in main event spots. I mean, look at a few people. Look at Tori Wilson. She was there. I mean, if you were to look at that, I mean, she worked hard through her career. I'm not taking that away. I mean, as far as she wasn't, world champion, something like that. But I mean, she worked hard throughout her career. So I mean, why not Carlito? There's other people on the list, but I don't know. But I don't know. Look at the Boogeyman was there too.
Well, I mean, I think they just bring it. I just bring him in. I think they just bring him in as like a joke.
He's a special attraction for his character or what he does. I mean, and I get that, but I'm like, and I get your point, but it's more or less, hey, Carlito, he worked hard for a long time and was in such maybe in spots, and so why not? I mean, I don't, depending on what you feel, Mike Rotunda, IRS was there too. I mean, obviously played a big role back in the day.
Mike Rotunda, I would give more credence to being a legend. And
oh, I mean, I get it. He goes back many years, and I mean, I'm not. I guess I shouldn't compare IRS and Carlito, but it's not. I'm not. You just. I guess I just look at people who play a big spot in their career for a long time. You can get paid away, help, or stuff like that. You can take that as legend. Why not? I mean, it's not like it's to be different if someone just was in there for a year or less, and it was just kind of they were just there. So right. I guess. Anyways,
I think, and because you brought up Mike Rotunda, I think at this point, at the rate that Bray is going, he's going to surpass his dad as legend status.
I think, we can say that, but I think they just got their own roads, but own roles. I mean, two different characters. I mean, yeah, obviously to talk about the success of like world champion and different things of that nature, and the impact. Yeah,
that's what I mean is the impact of his character.
IRS was a big impact. I mean, was it like as far as main event, all the time, or what? However, I guess. I mean, I grew up a little bit, back in that era. Not as far as the, I mean, back when I barely knew what IRS was back then. But seen. So I mean, he played a good role for a long time. Even when he came into WCW, he was still a fair role. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they're their own person. It's like you look at Charlotte and Rick. They have their own roles. They have their own. I don't know. Two different careers, two different people. So I guess it's how. But I know what you mean, though. I mean, and Bray's still young, so you never know how much further.
I think Bray's gonna be talked about for years to come.
Oh yeah, especially in this generation. It's especially in this generation. It's But yeah, as far as having that bigger career, yeah, you can say that. But it's two different. You do ask somebody that from the old school, they may not know Fiend or Bray Wyatt because they may not pay attention. But yeah, I mean, I guess you want to say accolades, probably. Yeah, you'd say Fiend has a little more of that than obviously his daddy. So unfortunately, they didn't have Bo Dallas do anything, or Bo, miss him. But fortunately, I don't know what's going on with him. But anyways, yeah, I mean, it's definitely Fiend of Bray Wyatt. I think his career, as far as popularity and accolades, definitely, it's already gone that way. Surpassed his, popularity in his role and being champion in that regard. Yeah. Hey, do you remember off the wall question? Do you remember when Mike Rotunda was Wall Street?
That was in WCW, wasn't it? Like
yeah.
After that,
yeah. I remember. Yeah.
I had a tape. It was from I think it was WCW Saturday Night. It was Wall Street versus the Booty Man.
Yeah. Match. Yeah. Anyway, that's just a little off the wall question.
One of the faces of Ed and Leslie.
Yep. 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 Absolutely.
I liked him as his bearded biker gimmick as the Disciple, but
at first I didn't know who it was when they brought out the Disciple, and I eventually realized, but I didn't even know.
I had to look that up to see who it was them. So okay, there's two matches that are going on now at Royal Rumble, and there's questions about that. But we have Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre, which was basically set on Raw. Because Goldberg is Goldberg, and he can just show up and demand himself a title match. Who do you think is going to come out on that one?
Oh man, Goldberg's gonna be world champion again.
I hope not. I really, really hope not.
Well, I hope.
I hope this is an opportunity for Drew to beat Goldberg and kind of cement himself.
I think there's a torch that needs to be passed, because big guy, legend to star, current star.
I like to see Drew break out the spear.
He just might, or at least you can see Goldberg going to go for the spear, but it gets Claiborne. That could happen very well. That could very well happen.
I can see Drew pulling off a spear, and I can see Drew pulling off a jackhammer.
He could do both. Never know. He's a big guy. He can have a lot of impact in that way. But yeah, I seen the ending overall. I just, the title match is great by far between Drew and Keith Lee. Definitely a great match. It was cool that they had the legends sit there at the staging area. So that was cool to see that too. But as far as the ending, the way it went, I didn't like it. I just didn't think it was, from my opinion, my taste. It didn't match my taste, especially when he comes off. Oh, you don't tell Drew you don't respect the legends and think you're better. I didn't like that. And then of course the ending was Drew saying something about me fighting our match would be fighting my daddy, or and he pushes Drew. I just didn't quite like it. That's just my taste. But y'all let us know what y'all thought about that. But yeah, there's gonna be Goldberg and Drew. It looks like so. I'm thinking there's gonna be a torch pass. If I don't see any reason why Goldberg should win. Only I can think if they do have Goldberg win, I would think there's maybe a rematch between them two at WrestleMania some way. Other than that, I'd say should go to Drew, pass the torch.
Well, I don't think it makes sense for Goldberg to win that one.
Yeah. Who's next?
Right, exactly. So the other one that was made is it's going to be Adam Pearce versus Roman Reigns. Oh, okay. So one of the jokes that I saw, and I think this is funny, and it makes sense. It's Goldberg Light versus Drew, and then Goldberg Light versus Roman.
Oh Lord. I guess this makes some entertainment along the way, but I think they need to just do something for Roman, I guess, special attraction kind of match. I
hope Owens interferes or something.
That would be fun. It'd be hysterical if they would interfere and then Adam Pearce becomes champion, even though it's not good business, not a good move. I mean, it'd be some way, Roman gets his butt up a little bit by KO somehow. Obviously, Pierce is not going to do that job, but I just was like, oh, this is going to be obviously an attraction match. It's going to be there just for good paper on paper, but at least I should say is, oh my gosh, why is that Pierce wrestling for? That's what I mean by that. But I just ain't digging it necessary, but it's for the entertainment value.
I mean, I don't know. I hope it'll be okay, and I know Adam Pearce is supposed to be like an all-star from ROH, but
yeah,
I mean, it kind of comes out of nowhere with no reference to people that maybe never saw him in ROH. I can't even remember ever seeing him in ROH, but
yeah, I didn't even know about his career until it was mentioned recently. So,
hey, I mean, if he takes the title from Roman, that would be something for a follow-up at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, definitely would be. I don't see they're going to do it to Reigns, though, taking the title off him against
Oh, no,
Pierce.
I'm completely joking.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, I don't think that Vince has that idea. So,
speaking of Vince, did you know that he didn't really want Jericho?
He didn't want Jericho what?
In 1999, he didn't really want Jericho.
I think someone maybe Jericho mentioned that. Someone had mentioned briefly that at one point in time. What is there details that you know about or hear about? I should say, whatever.
Well, yeah, I was listening to a clip from the Grilling with JR podcast, and they're talking about the WrestleMania where Jericho was pulled out and they put in Mick Foley right after his retirement. And Jim Ross was saying the reason he did that is that Vince McMahon did not see Jericho as a star, and that even when